What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. This is your boy, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That is, of course, the Freddie Mercury puppet. And you know, when his teeth are out, we are going to have a good time. And tonight's going to be no different. Let me get a look at myself, of course. Can't find Rex's bad side. Take one look, folks. You know that you are looking at the King of Sleaze, a.k.a. the Son of Glam, and most importantly, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., and the hard science will prove it very soon. And we will finally have verification once and for all, what we've all known all along, that you are looking at the Son of Glam, the front man for the band, adored by a million fans, the peanut butter to your jam. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wop, bop, loo, bop, wop, bam, bam, shazam, hot damn. I am feeling good. And as we just saw, of course, I'm looking good. Exactly what you expect from the offspring of a legendary frontman. Makes me a legend myself. So, hey, there we go. We're going to have a lot of legends in here tonight, man, because my guest tonight is making some legendary music, well on his way to being a legend if he isn't already one, man. And I got to thank my man from Skin Lab, Mr. Steve Esquivel. Let me give him a shout out for turning me on to these guys, man. We're going to have a good time. My guest is here. This is going to be fun. Let's get the fuck down to it. There he is. What's up, my man?
Yeah, buddy. Sorry about that.
No, listen, man. No worries at all, man. You know, shit gets fucked up in the technology world sometimes. It happens, you know?
Yeah, I should be better at it by now, though.
Listen, man, I'm super happy to have you on here. And in my little preamble before you got on here, I was shouting out my man, Steve Esquivel from Skin Lab. He's actually the guy that turned me on to the CODEFENDANTS project.
Fuck yeah, man. He's a great dude, man. He's got the fucking tattoo of the CODEFENDANTS on his hand. Yeah,
he's very dedicated, man. I know. Gone so far as to get the tattoo. That's high praise.
The tattoo, it's like it tripped me out, man. He's a good dude, San Jose head, right?
But I'm not going to lie, man. I'm really enjoying the project, man. And it's simply for the fact that because when you're out there looking for new music, man, and I'm 51 years old, so I tend to get stuck in my ways. When I'm listening to music for my own enjoyment, I tend to fall back on my old standards and classics, you know. So it's really refreshing to find new music that is challenging and interesting.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The pleasure making shit with you guys.
Yeah. So let me backtrack a little bit and kind of start at the beginning with you. Was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really kind of put the spark in you to get on this musical journey?
I think first CDs and all that started coming out. I went to a public library in like South San Jose area, and I stole an X. I just stole a CD. I just wanted to listen to CD. We had a player, but it was music house. And I boosted one CD, and it just happened to be X. And that song Los Angeles sticking out to me a lot when I was younger.
Hold on, I got to stop you for a minute, Sam. You got a bad connection. You're getting very frozen and pixelated, and your audio is kind of getting
one second. Let me see if I can move closer to the router.
Yeah. Maybe try that, and maybe see if we can get a better connection. Because I want everybody to be able to hear and see everything you got to say.
Yeah.
And look at that, man. Wherever the hell he is, it's fucking sunny. I'm already jealous there.
Yeah, we're in Las Vegas. It's well over 101 degrees right now.
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York. I'm in upstate New York, and it's nowhere near 101 degrees. So.
Oh no. Well, we were just up in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that? Got a better connection?
A nice part of the country, but yeah, you're still getting a little pixelated, but like when you settle into a spot, like I think it'll be good though. Yeah.
Have we gave me that phone mount that's on by the turntables?
Yeah, there you go. Now you're coming in. Yeah. Now that you found yourself a good place, man. Yeah, you're coming in a lot better. So you were saying, man, like the impetus, like for starting music, man. Like, what was it for you? You were talking about a tape or something that you were listening to.
Yeah, I'd taken a X CD from the public library.
Okay.
And it had that song Los Angeles on it, and I remember. I forgot what skate video it was, but I recognized the song, and I thought that was really cool. And I just got the original Spark, and then I got a bass and started playing around with that, and then that turned into a band later on in Hollister, and we played like 2 shows. We went to Santa Barbara to Isla Vista, and played a show for some college students when we were like fucking freshmen in high school and shit. Like, it was cool.
Yeah. I'll bet you those shows didn't cost over a fucking $100 like I just shelled out to go see fucking Metallica.
Oh yeah, man. That's a lot.
Ouch. I mean, let me just say, man. And I think my wallet is still saying ouch as well, man. Ouch, ouch, and ouch. I am going to get to see 3 bands. And they are obviously legendary bands. I'm super happy that Metallica is alternating opening bands on every other date. So when they come through upstate New York, it's going to be Pantera and Suicidal Tendencies, which I am very happy about.
Oh fuck yeah! We saw it. Sorry, I just lost the
That's all right.
video on you. Let me see. How do I get that back?
There should be a camera icon down at the bottom of the screen there too.
Yeah, there's not. It says raise, and then it's got lower. Nope, and then it's got a phone. It just does not giving me a. Can you request video again?
It should be down next to the microphone there at the very bottom there. There should be a microphone and then a little icon of a camera, and then there's like a hand down there. And
yeah, I got the microphone, the hand, and the speaker for audio, but I don't have a
either
video.
that or you might have turned it off. I don't know. Did you turn it off on your phone?
I didn't even touch the phone. I think that my phone was like running low on fucking battery, so it got like maybe it's like not doing video or something. Hold on, let me figure it out. Fuck, bro, my bad. I might have to fucking.
All right. As we figure these technical difficulties out, man, we will get Sam King as my guest, man. And let me let him tell him to pop back in. That way we can get his video back. And for those of you who don't know, my guest is Sam King. You might know him from a punk band, Get Dead. That'll fix it.
There we go.
I figured you go out and come back in again, man. That would probably work right there, man. So let me talk influences, man. You remember who your first musical influences were? Was there like a specific front man or a specific musical personality that you really registered with you?
I think that the first personalities that really registered with me were probably like Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, because they were really big kid. And then we found some Tribe Called Quest and side tapes in my buddy's older brother's room when he went away for the military, and I got into the Far Side, and I really got into those guys as like characters, and got into their solo stuff and stuff like that. So that was my first introduction to hip hop and stuff like that. Was like like East Coast hip hop, and Far Side was from LA, and then that just and then I fell in love with that.
So you're into that weird hip hop. I kind of like that too, man. That hip hop that's not your regular run of the mill hip hop.
Yeah. Not like commercial hip hop. I mean, even though there's some. I mean, I listen to mariachi music if it fucking sounds good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely do like more underground artists and more obscure sound tones, I guess, for my palate.
Yeah. Well. So what was the impetus? Obviously, people know you from Get Dead, but what was the impetus for getting the CODEFENDANTS project going? How did that come together?
Well, that came together during COVID. During lockdown, I listened to a lot of Ceschi's music, and I got introduced to it. I used to do a lot of underground hip hop myself, and Ceschi started Fake 4 Records, and he has actually worked with a lot of the same people that I worked with when I came up doing underground hip hop. For some reason, we just never crossed paths, even though he's really good friends with some of my really good friends. So one of my oldest friends, Mark Redia, he was doing some flash art when Ceschi caught that case to help money for his legal fees and put money on his books. And you know, he was donating all the money one day for the flash art that he had on the wall, and it was all fake Force stuff. So I started listening to Ceschi stuff and got really into it. I went and saw Gilman, and then I stopped doing hip hop for a long time. After listening to his acoustic punk rock record, for some reason it got me wanting to do hip hop stuff again, at least in that vein. And I was doing an interview like this, and somebody asked me what punk rock I was listening to, and I said, I don't know. I listened to a lot of Ceschi, and somehow somebody listening to that Canadian podcast sent that to Ceschi. Ceschi checked out Dancing with the Curse from Get Dead. Yep. And he was a big fan of it. And then me and him just started pen paling back and forth, sending each other beats. And he came to LA to record Abscess. And then he ended up basically just staying in LA. And we lived together for the next like year and a half between LA and Vegas, working close with Fat Mike. And it just happened, you know. Started with flamenco guitars in my ex-girlfriend's living room in Koreatown in LA. And I showed some stuff to Fat Mike, and he was really into it and got behind it. So me and Ceschi were fortunate enough that they threw us some cash to pay some rent, and we just sat down, we're derelicts for a summer and made the album.
And when you guys sat down to make the album, man, what was the creative process like? Because you guys are such both creative forces. Was it collaborative? Did somebody have more of the lion's share of the ideas?
Yeah, no, it was 100%. When at the very beginning it was just me and Ceschi, it was 100% me and him, half. It was me and him talked about it. It was the first time that we had ever written lyrics like that, because you write your own lyrics by yourself. And we were literally writing like line for line, like, nah, that word, you know, just really hyper focused on each sentence, you know. And then I would write a sentence and he would edit it, and then he would write a sentence and I would edit it, and then we would have these two new sentences, and then we both edit it. Just really try to get it down and articulate the vibe that we're trying to get across.
And when you guys, when the seed for this band is first planted, man, what are you guys kicking around? Like, as far as like, what were the conversations like? If I could be a fly on the wall, like what were you guys really talking about? Like, hey, we want this project to sound like, or we want to model it after. Obviously, and to my ears, it doesn't sound like really anything that anybody else is doing, but certainly a mixture of a lot of different things. But I imagine that was probably the goal for you guys. But was there anybody or a definitive blueprint in there of anybody that you wanted it to sound like, or did you have any examples like, hey, let's do something in the vein of?
Yeah, I think if we had anything in the vein of, I would definitely say it was like 90s pop, fucking pop, just the way that we grew up. You know, we listened to a lot of alternative rock and grunge music, and
sure,
you know, we were both, you know, when we first started hanging out, me and him really broke down over like Nirvana and you know, Alice in Chains, and you know, nerding out on shit like Temple of the Dog, and just that whole crazy thing. You know, they have just like those pop songs from like Everclear and fucking like Gin Blossoms, and you know, especially during those years. You know, I'm 43 now, so you know, it's pretty much the me and him are we're almost exactly the same age. Our birthdays are off just by like a month or two, and we both grew up in our adolescence with the exact same music, you know. So, and I think that's going to be a different experience for everybody. Yeah. You know, depending on what time you're born and shit like that, you know. But luckily, me and him are in the same age, and we both just are super into old 90s radio music. You know, it was just different. It was fucking super simple, super cheesy, you know, fucking dude singing about a detachable dick.
Yeah. Oh, I remember Detachable Penis by King Missile. Yeah. Shout out to King Missile.
Shout out to King Missile. You know what I mean? But it was like a less, I don't know, it was a less serious time, I guess.
It was. Yeah. And the music was certainly great. And I don't know how you feel about this particular band, but I really got vibes of the Fun Loving Criminals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fun Loving Criminals, a lot of like Portishead influence.
Yeah.
With that, the melody and like the minor chords and stuff like that. And you know,
I think maybe it's the fusion of the hip hop in there is really what reminds me of the Fun Loving Criminals. I mean, because they were able to do really cool alternative music, but with a lot of hip hop undertones in there. And they're obviously, I don't want to say they did because they're still doing that. You know what I mean? And especially when I see you guys in the videos or on the cover, you know, like kind of like GQ'd up in suit and tie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of that's kind of similar to their vibe too.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, it's taking ourselves seriously, but not wanting to be taken too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and also being able to, like, with this, you know, the type of music that we play, we've always wanted to be really conscious about not mixing genres in a cheesy way.
Right.
You know, because there's that whole, you know, flood of like hip hop, hardcore, mix, mash, new metal.
Yeah.
Stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And for you know, the bands that did it, and you know, whatever that was, I mean, that was that time and place, and in my opinion, it wasn't my favorite genre, and I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't want to be a copy of that stuff. So
some bands did it better. I mean, some bands did it better than others, but yeah, overall, it did come off as a little bit kind of corny.
Yeah, you know, it's just I think it's, you know, it's interesting. It's like, you know, like a band like Sublime, for instance. It's the only band, which I love Sublime.
Me too. Me too. I'm glad you said that. I actually just went last weekend to see Bradley's son Jacob, who does a very commendable job out there with his own band, but also playing a lot of Sublime songs in his set, which is really refreshing, keeping that music alive.
Yeah, and you know, when you think about it, it's the only genre, or it's the only band there's a genre based around biting that band.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's you know, there's like 20 bands out there that are a direct carbon copy, sound exactly like fucking everything about them, and they're making good money doing it. You can't do that. That's how good that fucking band was, you know?
Yeah.
But when you hear that, you don't immediately think like, oh, hey, this band is like trying to develop something. It's like, oh, this band is just like really good at just, you know, taking someone else's shit.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I don't know. I feel a way about it. At least some people paying to go see somebody else fucking do another rendition of somebody else. It's kind of weird.
Now, I know a lot of people are speculating online because early on in live performances that are on YouTube or in videos or whatever, Fat Mike from NOFX was obviously like a big part of it. But I've seen a lot of people on on different threads on there asking like what his involvement is currently in CODEFENDANTS. Is it just kind of like you know, he kind of inserted himself in there to kind of give you guys that push? Like, what's his level of involvement with CODEFENDANTS?
I mean, he's still very, very much involved with CODEFENDANTS. He's the main push behind it. Like, you know, he's the one getting us into the studio. He's got 1,000 ideas. Me and Ceschi have 1,000 ideas, and he, you know, whittles them all down, and you know, keeps us on track, puts a spin on it, gets producers involved. It's just been, we've got a lot of new CODEFENDANTS stuff done right now, but we've been focusing on this last NOFX tour, obviously.
Right.
Which is almost done after next week. That'll be the final show. And I think that, you know, Mike will probably take a little month off, which is a well-needed break, and then we'll go. But he's very much in it. You know, he's been touring since '83.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
been at it a long time.
Chomping at the bit to kind of fucking, you know, stay at the DoubleTree and fucking play bass and then start the band, you know, and do it all again. But he's definitely just very into creative music. He's working and collabing with a lot of people. He's, you know, he's getting into a lot of, you know, behind the scenes stuff like scoring movies, commercial work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's just, as far as like, if we're playing somewhere super special or it's like a big show, I mean, I guarantee that he's not going to never come out and play with us again. But he is more like a studio gangster at this point.
Yeah. Now, the last time that you guys, you know, you recently just did the combined EP with CODEFENDANTS and Get Dead. But what's the status on like an actual Get Dead album? I believe, if I got my notes here, the last one was Dancing with the Curse in 2020. Is Get Dead and CODEFENDANTS kind of, you know, obviously you've got them both on your plate. Is one taking precedent over the other?
No, not at all. We have with Get Dead, we've been working on a new album. We just started a couple months ago, I'm living in Las Vegas now, and the boys are still in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So it's been a hectic year for Get Dead and Codefendants. And luckily, I'm in a position where a lot of it was with the NoFX tour. So I got to, play a day with Get Dead, play a day with Codefendants for all these NoFX shows.
Right.
And so that means that when Get Dead's with us, they're able to be the backing band for Codefendants. And, and that's always, I love playing with different bands with Codefendants just because it's a different vibe. It's always different when we play with Zeta, or if we play with, we Get Dead, or if we just put like musicians together. It's just fun. But as far as like one taking precedent over the other, I don't see it. They're both neck and neck in my eyes. My style of writing music is that of, it's either going to be a full blown punk rock style, like Dancing with the Curse song, which has a lot of hip hop flow to it, I guess. But and then Codefendants music, which is way different. It's gonna be more left field, So right now I'm just stacking music. I'm just recording small demos here and there. We have like the place I live at in Vegas. We have like 8 turntables stuff. We have Akai's everywhere. It's built. This demoing songs. My roommate Austin, he also does all of Ceschi's animation. He does all the animation for our crowd stuff and all that. It's rad because he's always home. So even when he hears us like just fucking around, he comes and he films. So he's got 50 of these just dumb songs you think you'd never hear again.
Yeah.
Like recorded, which is rad because then you go back and start developing them, or maybe you play them for Mike or Ceschi, and they hear something that I wouldn't have, and then they just build off of that. It's cool to see that shit go. So whether it goes towards Get Dead or goes towards Codefendants, really just like the vibe of the song at this point.
And now, what is your own, we talked a little bit about the group creative process, but for you, when you're going to sit down and write or create music, what's your own individual creative process like? I know I talked to a lot of musicians on here, and, there's so many different avenues that creative people, take. They're the people that lock themselves away in a room and sequester themselves and sit down and write. I hear a lot of people say they get a lot of great ideas in the car, maybe at their day job. Ideas are popping in all throughout the day. Do you have a set routine, when you're going to sit down and create music that works for you, or is it just kind of like, whenever the spirit hits you?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I've got pretty severe ADD, so anytime that I try to like tell myself to buckle down and focus on anything, my brain's pretty good. Yeah. My brain's good cutting that shit down. It's when I used to paint houses, I'd be painting a house, I'd be like, man, I just want to get home and write music. And then when I started doing music full time, I was thinking like, damn, it'd be cool to go like make some money and paint a house today.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter. I don't recommend my approach to it for everybody, but mainly what I see patterns when I actually write a song that I keep is I smoke hella weed.
Yeah, that helps to create a process. Sure.
Very much, and it's after 80% of the time it's after some wild ass shit's happened in my life, and I'll go on some 3-4 day bender, and I'll fucking come out of the fog and I'll just start writing about it, or write into so it's not the most constructive fucking way to go about things, and I try not to think that that's the only way that I can write music, but when I look at it analytically, that's always the 2 major factors of every song on Dancing with the Curse, every song on Codefendant, every song when you get to that album, I've just looked at that.
Now, coming from a fan standpoint, as I mentioned earlier, I have a hard time like reaching out of my comfort zone and trying to go on my streaming platform and discover new music. The podcast has certainly helped, and it is nice to give a kind of a platform to young up and coming bands or whatever. But you yourself, when you've got time to listen to music from a fan standpoint, do you find it easy to find? I mean, obviously the streaming sites are loaded with new songs and new bands every single fucking day. There's thousands of new songs uploaded on there. Are you able to find new music in today's world that excites you?
Yeah, and I think that the way that I do that is I do go on to streaming sites, but instead of trying to keep up with what's new on the thing. Like we work with this guy named Joshua, who's like a sign painter out here. He used to work under fucking Ceschi, a famous photographer guy, did like Beastie Boys shit like that. And he told me that guy told him once when he was apprenticing under him, he was like, anything that you think is groovy, take a picture of it, you know, and then you can look at it later and get your inspiration that you thought you had there. And I think a lot of the new music and the way that I find music and vibe out to it is I'll find a new band or something will come on to the radio, and then I'll immediately just start a radio station off of that band and just get into the genre of that music.
Yeah.
And then just like stick with that for like a week and then listen to it. And then if I'm, if that band comes back with a couple more songs like that, then I'll dive into an album.
Yeah.
But a lot of my algorithm and stuff like that, it's getting so good nowadays that it like, it's played me the same 3 songs from a band that I'd never heard of before. And then when I dived into that band, they only had 1 album, and I tried to listen to the whole album all the way through.
Yeah.
And I listened to those 3 songs that were already picked for me. I skipped every other, like within 10 seconds. So
well, there are a lot of bands. Well, obviously there are like a lot of bands out there though, man, that don't give you like an album. Sometimes it's worth listening to from start to finish. And I don't know if you're finding that, because I look at every album in as a conceptual album, because I think when an artist makes an album, it is meant to be listened to, like in the old days from start to finish. And, there's an arrangement and there's a cohesion to the album where it's kind of meant to be listened to in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at old albums, like old Pink Floyd albums, for instance.
Right. Like you wouldn't just go on and listen to The Wall and just like skip around songs.
Yeah. It's like to actually get what the fuck I'm talking about, you'd have to listen to it as one piece. But I mean, there's also ways to do that too, as far as like listening to an artist, like specifically like Ceschi. He's just coming out with the Bring Me the Head of Francisco Falls, and it's his last album that he's gonna release as rapper Ceschi.
Yeah.
Okay, because he always wanted to have just Ceschi to be a body of work. Like here's my life from fucking 19 years old till 43. Right. Chronologically fucking put in there for you. Take what you will out of it. You can listen to early Ceschi, middle Ceschi, late Ceschi. You don't have to listen to the whole album to get it at that point. But that's only when it's already bookended. You can't do that. An artist is fucking just continues to grow. And that's every artist's albatross to carry, I guess, is like when is it appropriate to stop?
Yeah. And
how do you stop? As an artist, like you never really stop. You just find an acceptable place to quit.
Right.
Because you're spending too much time on it.
And then there's plenty of artists that don't know when to quit.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, is being as the funny thing about musicians and people that do art for a living and stuff like that, it's like we're good at doing this. We're good at making music. We're good at relaying a feeling for people to catch a vibe to. That doesn't mean that we're fucking this level at everything else in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like self-awareness, courtesy, fucking, general giving a fuck about the well-being of like, what's going on around us. Like, we're not good at that kind of shit. This is how the sausage is made. But it's fucking funny to me when people, get so down on an artist when it's like, these motherfuckers should have quit years ago.
I know.
Like, it's easy for you to say, motherfucker, you work at fucking Starbucks with your fucking, it's like,
it's not just that easy to walk away from. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because where do you stand on, like, when you see these bands, as a musician yourself, when you see these bands that have been doing it for a long time, and I know there's a couple of them that have really been taking a whipping the last couple of years on social media, and it seems like nowadays when people are at a concert, that fucking cell phone is not really used so much to take videos and remember the moment as much as it is to be a critic and catch mistakes and blow people up on the internet. But when you go see a live show, are you okay with these? And I'm not a musician myself, so I'm just speculating here, but how we hear some of these bands being called on the carpet about using smoke and mirrors or backing tracks or things of this nature to kind of beef up the sound and help them replicate what they no longer can do. too. Are you okay when you see a show and a band does that, or do you like the experience of going and hearing them, warts and all, so to speak, even if they do sound awful?
Yeah, I mean, there's the two sides to that, because there's, you know, when people pay to go see a band play, they're not there to see fucking band rehearsal.
Right.
They're not there to fucking, yeah, if you can play the shit exactly like the CD, good on you.
Yeah.
You know, if you like, we Co-Defendants use backing tracks, but we use backing tracks because it's like digital music.
Right.
You know, we're not going to pay a fucking orchestra to come fucking play 14 seconds of string, you know?
Right.
But I think it gets dicey when you have bands like, you know, like Anti-Flag, for instance, before they fucking net. You know, we saw them play and it was like they had a dude fucking behind stage, behind the curtain, playing guitar parts.
Yeah.
They had 3 people fucking singing behind the stacks. It's not like, you know, when you see NOFX play, they've got their fucking people that are backing the band up and they're front fucking center.
They're out there.
You see exactly what the fuck they're doing. You know,
they're
not trying. It all boils down to, I guess, in my opinion, it would boil down to intent. Are you trying to be cool? You know, because cool is cool. So if you're fucking, you know, if you're trying to, you never did.
Well, one band that was taking a big whipping was obviously Kiss, but then again, it's not fair. It's not responsible comparison to expect them to replicate what they did 40 years ago. And I think when you go see a band like Kiss, it's not so much that you want to hear Paul Stanley singing as much as it is to go and see the whole spectacle. You know what I mean? You're seeing the, you know, you're seeing the pyro, you're seeing the flames, you're seeing all that kind of stuff. You know, I think if you walked away and they tried to do what they did back in 1977 and tried it without any of that stuff, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Then you got people walking away saying, boy, they sound fucking terrible, you know?
Yeah, well, and I mean, they've always been a fucking terrible band.
Right.
You know, so their whole thing has been fucking smoke and mirrors. And that's like, you know, that's like trying to fucking say that you want a Guar acoustic set.
Right.
With no fucking makeup on and shit. It's like, who gives a fuck? You know?
Right. Well, it's hard to know from a fan standpoint now, you know, especially if you're not a musician, you know, what you really are looking at. Because then there's rumors going around that, you know, a guy like Nikki Sixx, he's not up there and he doesn't play a single note on his fucking bass, and he hasn't for years. You know, I think to the untrained eye, you have no fucking idea that that's going on, you know?
Yeah, fuck no. And, you know, if they dupe you, they dupe you. I mean, it's fucking show business, baby. Right. But, like, you know, once again, it just comes back to intent. Now, if Nikki Sixx was doing every interview talking about I'm the greatest fucking live bass player that's ever lived, look at me go, check out my fucking prowess, blah, 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 then then you find out that the motherfucker's spurious, it's, you know, fuck him, you know, get the pitchforks. But, you know, if he's quietly just sitting there being a fucking ex-junkie that's making millions of dollars still a year, you know, getting domed out by some cougars, fucking, you know, streets got to eat.
And how do you get the legendary, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, in my notes, on the Co-Defendants album, you got the legendary DOC.
Yeah, man. We have he just did another track with us that we're working on for some new Co-Defendant stuff. He's a really good friend of ours now.
I'm glad to see him getting some shine, because he was one of those guys when Snoop and Dr. Dre went solo and was really blowing up. But unfortunately, you know, because of circumstances out of his control, you know what I mean? You know, there was a lot of hype on him, man. And he really was supposed to be, you know, the next big fucking thing.
Yeah, man. And he, you know, his journey is a crazy one, and he's going to be okay. But, you know, he wrote a lot of that stuff for Dr. Dre and Snoop and those guys. So, you know, he's been just fine with it. He definitely hasn't got the accolades that we all think that he should get. But I think that his third act in life he's gonna be okay, man. Yeah, but he's an amazing fucking dude.
Now, obviously, the Get Dead stuff is certainly punk rock. You know, what I mean, like to the core. But when you look around at music nowadays, you know, do you think that bands nowadays who claim to be punk rock or hardcore music? I've asked this question of many hardcore guys I've had on here too. You know, do you think that ethos and that attitude still exists? Because I very much think that, you know, there's more to just saying I'm a punk band or I'm a punk hardcore band. You know what I mean? A lot of times, and me being from upstate New York, obviously, New York hardcore is a legendary scene. And I think it was spawned out of like that Lower East Side, that gritty, that DIY attitude of bands like Agnostic Front and Sick of It All and stuff like that. Did you think that was a snapshot in time, or does that resiliency and that punk hardcore attitude still exist today?
I think that you're always at the root of everything. You're always gonna find that attitude.
Yeah.
As long as we live in a class system, you're always gonna get haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
And that all art is fucking always spawned by the have-nots and the struggle.
Yeah.
Anybody can fucking put on some, furry fucking boots and a colorful necklace and say that they're a raver, just like anybody can put on an Against Me shirt and say that they're a fucking punk rocker.
Right.
Now, it always boils down to real, recognize real, and people that are of that ilk and from that that type of DIY environment where you are relying on yourself and the people directly next to you to help you get up and out. You can have posers and everything, and they're quickly spotted by the fucking real people. I think that punk rock is, like you said, it's not just having some weird fashion shit. It's a whole, it starts young.
Yeah.
Questioning shit, fucking,
Yeah.
coming to the own realization that 90% of the stuff around you is bullshit. And, not accepting that things aren't fair. It's like, yeah, things aren't, you're just not being like, oh, it's not fair. That's life. It's like, fuck that. If you really think that something's not fair, do something about it. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Now Get Dead put out Dancing with the Curse in 2020. How did COVID interrupt or derail? And if you could think back to that time, I know we're already 4 years past that time, and it seems like it's gone by extremely quickly. But you guys drop an album in 2020. How did COVID popping up like derail any of your fucking plans or throw a wrench in shit? Did it fuck things up for the band?
I mean, I think I'm glad I kind of gambled with that. The label didn't want to put out Dancing with the Curse during COVID. They were very adamant about, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
This is a good album. You guys can't tour on it. We can't promote properly and all that. And my view and the rest of my band and Get Dead was like, fuck it. We made it. We worked this hard to do it. Why not? No other band was releasing music, A.
Right.
B, and as a consumer of music, I was in my fucking garage doing a DIY project like 90% of everybody else.
Right.
And I'm fucking music, and I got nothing more. And then I heard the Idols album.
Yeah.
And that shit, and I was like, fuck, yes, And I fucking dissected every fucking word to those things because you had nothing else to do. You have a captive audience.
Right. Good point.
So when a band releases an album, you go and you tour on that album. You maybe play one or two new songs from the album, but everybody else wants to hear the other one. You can't play all the new songs because nobody fucking knows them. Nobody gives a shit. When we got back from fucking the lockdown was done, which was some of the most flourishing years of my life. Thank you for all the free money, whatever kind of or whatever the fuck. Fucking yay, do it again.
Yeah.
Great fire drill guys, loved it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But when you go on tour, so you play one of those. It's so funny because you're selling the new album on tour,
right?
But you're only playing one song off it, maybe two,
right,
off the new album.
Good point. Yeah,
you're really only selling it to the people that fucking already bought the other two records on your shit already.
Right, diehards. Yeah,
exactly. So it's it's kind of stupid fucking system if you ask me. But by having a captive audience, when everything got released, we had to go play the shows, do the makeup shows that we didn't do. So we went out to Europe. Every fucking show, we played the album front to back, the new album for the whole tour, which is only 32 minutes long. 33. So they'd be like, "Oh, we're headlining for an hour." We'd be like, "No, we're gonna do this shit for fucking you get 40 minutes to play like the old one." Everybody knew every word to every one of those songs.
Sure.
Right off the bat. They sat there for 2 years with it and fucking listening to it. It was great. It was awesome.
Now, it seemed like around that time, though, obviously, it seems like the public's attention span has dwindled a lot, in recent times. And it also seems like, because there's such an influx of new music out there on the platforms all the time, that around COVID, it seemed like people were really almost afraid to be forgotten about, in those uncertain times. You saw a lot of singles coming out. You saw a lot of EPs. You saw people really putting out a lot of stuff. But for you, do you have a definitive opinion on like what the best format to put music out? Do you still like a long play album? Do you think it's an era of EPs? Is there a right or wrong answer for you?
No, I think it goes back to if you're trying to make. I think that as far as long plays go, if you're making an album that's one cohesive statement, the last CODEFENDANTS record, every one of those songs belongs together.
Right.
It's all one thing,
Yeah.
But if you're a band like, Get Dead's been slacking on it too, but we are in an EP era. We are in a split era. We are in an era where people want to hear new songs from their favorite band. And they don't want to wait 3 fucking years for an album to come out.
Right.
And then to find out that when that album does come out, there's only 2 songs on there that you give a shit about anyway.
Right.
So,
and then people have moved on and they found the next thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And when you make an album, you got to think too. It's like, trying to make a cohesive album over the span of 3 years is a sucker bet.
Yeah.
Because the taste of your audience is going to change. Your view of things is going to change. So it's hard to make an album. It's like by the time you get to the 12th song, the first song sounds like shit because you're a better musician by the song.
Right.
So how do you pick this shit? Like, we got to get democracy situations and whatever. But like, I think that the old way of doing things is an antiquated system. So, you've got things now like waterfalling that helps the fucking artist, where I would make a single and I release it. And then, in another month or another 2 weeks, I release a new single. But that first single I did, that's my fucking B-side.
Right.
Single. Now, you're getting that. And then we've fucking third song. Third songs you release. Those other 2 first songs are your B-sides.
Yeah.
Now you got an EP on your hands. But if you, as an artist, if you release it that way, you're making your streaming revenue, 12 times, there you go. Now you got fucking 120 different ways to go at it.
Right.
So I mean, that's just, and I'm sure that they're going to close that loop once the artist figures out how to do something efficiently that makes them decent money. They will move the goalposts every time.
Right. Good point.
You have to be ready for that. That's just that's the business. That's why it turns into a job, because you got to pay attention to this shit.
I'm glad you brought up the business part. As somebody with definitive opinions, and a firm grasp on the realities of the music business, which you certainly have. How could the music business have harnessed the streaming platforms? Do you have a definitive business plan or an idea in your mind? How the record labels, could have somehow got in on the ground floor of the streaming and made it more profitable for the artist, man. Like, where did they fuck up and go wrong with all this?
Well, they fucked up because it's always a scramble, right? So, you had the fucking your Napster days, and it just, they were making, they had their golden era of selling CDs, and the fucking everybody was making all this money, including the artists.
Right. Obviously, this was inevitable, though. I mean, even the labels had to see the streaming was coming down the pike.
It is. It is always going to be inevitable. Anytime that you get a conglomerate of fucking investors that are putting money into a company, i.e. the record labels, and they want to see profits on the fucking deep end. And it's not that tech. This isn't Illuminati shit. If I give somebody $100,000 because they told me they're going to make me fucking $300,000 off of that, you're going to start making some fucking cuts and like, you know what I'm saying? That's capitalism.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, just like socialism didn't work. We need a hybrid. But when there was the golden age of all that, the artists were making money too, and the artists were so plump on their shit that they let the fucking music industry do this to them.
Yeah.
They let this shit go into disarray. When everybody started scrambling for fucking, because of Napster shit and all the CDs started plummeting and they were trying to pivot over there, you saw all these upticks of record labels, independent record labels, fucking bands just doing their own website where you can buy direct off of it.
Yep.
Like, as a band that's an established band for, like say Get Dead, if we wanted to put out an EP or something like that, we would do it on our own before we would. Why do we need a record label to help us out? Are they going to be marketing us? Are they going to be promoting?
Right.
I mean, are they going to fucking get us a couple fucking festival shows there where we make no money and they say it's for fucking exposure? As if my landlord fucking takes exposure for bills.
Right. Right. Yeah. Good point.
So fuck that. So, and then it's like, and so the artist pivots and goes, well, I'm going to do what the fucking record label has been doing and make the maximum amount of money for me, and then use him as a second thought, you know?
Yeah.
And then you don't need these record labels anymore. Now all the record label is a Rolodex and a fancy name for a distributor.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing, getting your shit. And are you really, in this day and age, are you really making that much fucking money getting your records distributed to fucking a record store in Perth? You know? How much?
How much are they really doing for you? Right.
Exactly. So now you're paying all these fucking premiums. You're paying like 70% of all your costs to them for no fucking reason. And you could be doing this hand to hand with your own, you know, all of our fans that we have and stuff we're easily going to see our social medias that we run and be like, hey, the new album's over here. Go buy it. In fact, how about this? How about who wants the new fucking album? And you only do pre-orders, so you don't have a bunch of overstock.
Yeah,
you know exactly how much money you're going to make. How much you go, sorry, guys, only 5,000 you wanted a record.
Yeah.
We would only break even, and we have to go back to work. Apparently, you guys don't give a fuck.
It's almost gotten to the point where you might as well be selling CDs out of the trunk of your car again.
You are. All this is right here is a fancy trunk. You're looking right through your trunk, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, step right up, dude. I got all kinds of shit. And you can even get robbed like this. Sometimes you can, but you know. So it's business. It all depends on how deep. If you want to be the business savvy motherfucker and get your algorithms right and know that you have to drop, 3 stories on Tuesday at 4:00 and fucking demographic research, all that shit, you can do it.
Yeah.
If the same with fuckers that got into Bitcoin and all that. Yeah, dude, if you want to look at 2 screens side by side and get all fucking horny when the thing pops up and you make some fake fucking nothing, cool, dude. It's called being a day trader.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that either, motherfucker. I don't care.
I know there's an actual name for it. I know.
Yeah, it's the same with fucking podcasts and shit like that, dude.
Yeah.
This is called AM talk radio, dude.
Yeah, more or less.
For fucking ever. And at least now all it is that we don't have to have fucking pirated shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a pirate radio station antenna to reach your audience. You fucking got a legitimate way to do it. And you can.
Now, do you like the business part of it? Like in your band, like it always seems like I'll specifically talk about Get Dead. Is there somebody in the band who has the good business mind that deals with promoters and deals with that kind of stuff?
No.
No.
We don't even have a fucking manager, dude. It's us. It's us. Timmy, our bass player, he's a school teacher. He teaches English, by the way, but for some reason that qualified him to be our accountant.
Okay. Okay. So he's the guy.
Yeah. He's the guy that's really, really fucking,
because I find in most bands that somebody usually steps up and takes that role who's got a good mind for that kind of stuff. Like if I was in a band, that wouldn't be me. That's not really my cup of tea, No.
But it's like, it's a cup of tea that needs to be drank.
It is.
Somebody's got to fucking make it. And somebody's got to go to the store and buy the shit. And somebody's got to keep the electricity on for the water to get hot.
Without a doubt.
So
yeah.
We luckily, I'm fortunate enough to Get Dead that we've always just been right down 5 ways. It's a 5-way split.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even with the members that haven't been with us anymore, if they were part of that album, those proceeds, we always just keep a 5-way split. Could I get more money for doing my publishing and all that shit? Yeah, but I have no idea how that fucking works.
Right.
And I'm probably leaving a lot of money on the table because of it. But at this point in my career, I'm more interested in making a quality product.
Well, there's that. Well, there's that, and I think though that you the way you guys are doing it diplomatically like that, it also avoids the inevitable dissension that creeps into a lot of bands too.
Yeah. If you're gonna, my advice to anybody that's gonna be in this music scene, 2 big pieces of advice that I always try to give is, 1, you can't let yourself get jaded. And the reason why people get jaded is that they're looking at other people's shit and comparing it to what you have and what you want and what they got. Now, what they got, you don't know how they got it. You don't know the work that they put in, just like you. They could have put in 3 times more work than you, and that's why they were there.
Yep.
They might have put no work in there. They got a fucking rich uncle. That's why they're there. It doesn't matter. You start paying attention and pocket checking people, you're going to let that creep into your crew, and eventually jealousy will hit. People will start acting like little bitches, and that's that. And you're a fucking rap. So never let this thing get jaded, you know. And the second thing is, never think that you're going somewhere. There's a fucking an ending point. Like, you're going to make it to this one show that's going to culminate to I made it.
Right.
You don't want to fucking make it. Once you fucking make it, you get your way all the way up those fucking tour flyers at the big festivals, and your name's at the fucking top. Coachella. Then what, motherfucker?
Yeah.
You know what? Then what? Now you're just going to, you know. So be careful when people try to do that, because it's real shit, corny or not.
Now, do you think bands that get to that point, like, you know, as you said, that are headlining there, man, do you think sometimes that we see some of these big bands kind of like lose their edge a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, I lived with Fat Mike here in Vegas in a mansion for the first year I was here.
Yeah.
And he was moving to a bigger house. And he told me to leave the Bay Area and come out here to work on CODEFENDANTS and stay out of trouble and just make music. And I wouldn't have to worry about fucking any rent, nothing. And I lived in that house for a year, and I had a great fucking year in Vegas.
Yeah.
One for the books, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I wrote? Not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because nobody gives a shit about your pool or
right.
how cool it is to have 4 washers and dryers.
Right.
You know, but it also doesn't give you an environment that's conducive to making a song or making music that people are going to be able to connect to on a real visceral level. That's going to make fucking hair stand up and be like, yo, I understand what that dude's saying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they got 3 songs about being happy.
Yeah.
You know, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Pharrell's Happy.
Yeah.
You know, you can count them on one fucking hand. That's all I'm saying.
I feel that way when I was buying the Metallica tickets, because as much as I wanted to go see them, I thought back to 1988 when they were on the Injustice for All tour, and I thought, wow, that whole evening I spent $30 total, $18 for a ticket, $12 for a shirt, and boy, are we a long way from those days.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, and all they're doing is, you know, fucking Hetfield's going white leopard hunting.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying by any means that they don't have the right to make money. And I'm not saying that I expect that everything should still be $30. Obviously, I understand that you adjust that stuff as time goes on or whatever, man. But, you know, there's such a huge discrepancy nowadays between, you know,
but I mean, those kind of things are all inflated pricing, though. I mean, look at whoever the promoter is for that show.
Yeah.
I can't even say what I want to say right now. Because if I did, it could literally affect where we can play next year. Right. You know?
Right.
And those are all conflated numbers. Those are all, you telling me that it costs, you know, fucking $14 million for Metallica to get on a stage and play fucking Injustice for All?
I know. It's crazy.
No,
yeah, it's crazy.
They're pyrotechnics, and they got 25 big rigs. They got 200 people on this.
Yeah.
They're all on union. They're all working on this contract. It's all.
I mean, the crazy part is, like, even the Ticketmaster handling fee. It's like nowadays you don't even get a physical ticket. Your phone is your ticket, or you print it off at home. But yet Ticketmaster still takes my $75 ticket and slaps a $25 handling fee on there, and I don't know what the fuck they're handling.
Yeah, they're not fucking. What they're handling is fucking scamming people out of money.
Yeah, it's really price gouging. It really is.
It fucking is. It's the same with I mean, look at your fucking cell phone bill or your cable bill. Yeah. It's never the same, bro. Right. And then they got weird ass shit on there that's just like, it just says extra services. Right. Right. You mean like $14 for extra services. Right.
And nobody's really scrutinizing the amount of data or the amount of stuff that they use. We're kind of just shrugging our shoulders and saying, okay, they must have it right.
Well, because they figured it out. They moved the goalpost. It was where like, okay, well, everybody can just kind of, you know, get on this one thing and pay one credit card bill. What happens if we turn this credit card bill into 25 different micro payments? Right. They're going to start fucking up on those. Then we'll get our interest rates back on those fucking late fees. Those late fees are taxed by the government. It's all fucking made, you know, I'm not big on conspiracy shit, but I am big on common sense shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not like these fucking potholes and all this shit fix themselves. They need fucking money. We talk a lot of shit to other people around the world. We need to protect ourselves. I get it, you know, but we're complacent with how much they take from us. And when you do that, the bully's always going to take more.
Yeah.
You know? So as long as, you know, the majority of people are just like, well, fucking, don't really care. It's, you know, it's 99 cents. Dude, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco is almost $20 now to cross it.
Yeah.
It used to be $3 when I was a kid. Now, if you did the fucking rate of inflation on that, that is fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
everything, you know.
And for a bridge that's probably been paid off for years.
Yeah, and it's, you know, they have over 150 to 200,000 people cross that bridge every day.
Sure.
Times $20. Do the math on that.
Yeah, I know.
One day they've got enough money to paint that thing for 3 years.
I know. Me and my son were just talking about that. We went to see Jacob Knoll. We took the New York State Thruway, and that's still like a toll road, even though it's been paid off for years and years and years. They're still getting you every time you get on there and exit off of there.
Yeah, it's like, what's the toll for? The toll was to fucking buy the bridge. You guys bought the bridge on credit. You put the toll there until we fucking pay it back. But hey, asshole, we worked 40 hours a week. When you gave us a paycheck, that money that we got was already taxed. On the state, fucking federal level, fucking our Medicare, everything was already taxed. And you have fucking made $100. Now you're giving me $70 off the bat. I go to the store to buy fucking smokes, gas, food. You tax me on all that money again. So now the 70 you gave me was really only 50. And then at the end of the year, you tax me on all of that money that you bought the tax again. So really, when you break it down, you're only getting 40% of what you make.
I know. Crazy.
That's a 60-40 deal. It's exactly where the fucking record labels are with us.
Now, where do you stand on, I know me being in my 50s, man, as I get older, I like my creature comforts. I've become much more of a homebody as I've gotten older. You know what I mean? Where do you stand on like touring? I know it's kind of like a nomadic existence. You're out there, you're on the road, you're in a van, you're on a tour bus. If you're fortunate enough to be on a tour bus, you still like touring? Do you still like the grind of being out on the road?
Yeah, I mean, touring is our main source of income.
Got to do it nowadays.
Like with CODEFENDANTS and stuff, Fat Mike and Bottles to the Ground put up all the money to get the record produced and made. So we worked with them as they get all the money for the records. Yeah, you guys paid for all those fucking records. You do it, and in exchange, me and Ceschi, we can hit the road, and that's our money. Yeah, and that's the deal, and it's fucking great, And so I love being on the road. My old job as a painter, my boss fucking fired me because he knew that Fat Mike had offered me to come out to Vegas and do music full time. And I'd worked for my boss at Vivid Paint. Shout out to Vivid Paint, Kenny, for 10 years, 11 years, and he listened to all the new music, and he's a fan of our music, and said, "Look, you can be a half-ass painter and a half-ass musician your whole life, and not go anywhere with any of them. You're basically working to get money to go on tour." And I was fortunate enough for 10 years to have a job where I could leave whenever the fuck I wanted. Yeah, I had a job when I got back. Yeah. That's fucking the freedom that I was afforded got me to where I am today. Yeah. So being as that, it's as a full-time worker my whole life, with like 1 to 2 jobs my whole life almost up until CODEFENDANTS. I need to do something during the day. And so it's like, being on tour gives me purpose. Whereas when I'm home, it's kind of like there's no structure. I'm not married. I don't have kids.
You're climbing the wall. Yeah.
I got a job. Well, yeah, it's like I got plenty of shit that I can get into, and I got good ideas about doing stuff and all that. But for me to like focus on shit, it's impossible. Where it's as tour, it's like, it's like people that get out of the military, it's too many cereals to choose from when they go to the grocery store. Yeah. Like, tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to eat. Where am I supposed to go? I work, for being such a chaotic person, I work very well in structure. And
so if you don't have a spouse and you don't have kids, during your downtime when you're not on the road or you're not channeling your creative energy into any musical endeavors, where else does your energy go? I always find a lot of creative people have other artistic, platforms.
I don't know, man. I've just submerged myself in making music and art stuff. So, I mean, I was telling someone the other day, I've never really been on vacation, even when I moved to Costa Rica for a little while. But even then, when I moved there, I was working at a surf camp. So, like, I've never gone anywhere on a vacation. It's always been on tour. But I've been to Paris, 12 times. I've never been up to the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
Because you just, you show up, fucking, sound check, load in 5. You fucking from 5 o'clock till 2 a.m. Yeah. Load out, maybe go to sleep, or maybe you're driving 8 hours to the next spot. It's just, it's very nomadic, but I don't know. It's and it's also at the end of the day, a lot of the time, especially starting out for the first 5 years, with Get Dead, the first 7, 8 years, we didn't make any money. You're going on these, gone for 52 days, and then you come back and you're still broke, or you got like $500.
That's disheartening. Yeah.
Well, it's disheartening, but then you have to, what's disheartening about it? Because you don't have as much money as your fucking asshole brother-in-law.
Right. Right.
Like you just went and spent 52 days with fucking 4 of your best buds doing some of the craziest shit in another country, and it was all paid for. All that was paid for.
Experiencing life. Yeah.
Yeah, all that was paid for, and all you were doing was living.
Yeah.
At the fucking highest rate that you can live.
Yeah. And also making a lot of people happy too, man, because obviously fans are turning out for a reason, Yeah. So you're bringing joy to people.
Yeah, and that's as a musician, you need to remember that too. A lot of bands will, they forget why they're doing this shit. And you got to realize that the people that are coming to your shows, they're still doing the bullshit that you didn't want to do. And that's why you're in a band. They did work 40 hours last week. They did get a sitter. This is, what? Yeah, maybe they're a little bit of a punisher because they're excited to be out. They've been fucking stuck with their wife and kid.
And I think at the end of the day, you don't want to see a band that comes up on stage and looks like they're punching the time clock either,
Yeah, or fucking when you go to try to talk to them at the merch booth or something. I mean, don't snap at people. Don't act too cool to say hello. If you're out in a general area where people can approach you, then don't act like the fucking world owes you 20 feet around your little bubble.
Yeah,
you out there, man. This is what you're signed up for. If you're a fucking prick, then you deserve what people say about you.
Yeah.
But I also know that sometimes, on the road, your Wi-Fi doesn't work. You miss a call with your chick. She's already on your shit. You miss a court date or something, and maybe you are fucking busy, and the people don't see that on you either. So I try to give people, the benefit of the doubt when I meet people on the road, where if I'm like, that guy's kind of an asshole, I'll hold my reservation till the second time we meet. Because 90% of the time, they're a completely different person.
Right.
But, as a musician or the artist, you can't expect that you want to earn a living doing it and have people come see you and then expect that you have this sacred space around you like a civilian.
Right.
Because you don't. And you need to be conscious about that. You need to be ready to turn the shit on when approached. Otherwise, faking the funk, stay in the tour bus or wherever,
I think the 2023 Codefendants album, This Is Crime Wave, is so original and so fresh, and is really such a great direction to go in. Do you have goals and plans or a definitive idea of like where Codefendants is going to continue to keep going? You have a direction you want to go in, for this next album, or like where you'd like to see this band, kind of carve out its legacy?
I'm gonna say that we're gonna go with just a way 180 turn and just go straight K-pop.
Okay.
Me and Ceschi got some Sailor Moon outfits. There's gonna be I don't know. I think we don't have a direction, and that is the direction.
Yeah.
Because
that might be the best direction, though. That might be the best answer to that question.
Yeah, having no direction is the direction, because when the magic in the Codefendant stuff is that it's free to fucking move wherever it wants.
Right.
And if you start putting a label on saying, that's free movement music, like that, then you just killed it.
Yeah.
So I think that we just continue to naturally write songs like we do and sharing them with each other, and just a whole collaborative process with not just me, Ceschi, and Fat Mike, but with like our whole group of friends, like all the Crime Wave people, everybody, from the art to the fucking, the mixing to everything. It's just trying to make a bubble for us and our little clan of 20 people to not have to clean houses.
And I think those curveballs are nice because, you know, one poignant thing that I heard once in an interview, I think it was on the Howard Stern show, and again, I don't mean to bring Metallica up, but this is something poignant that I did hear Lars say. You know, obviously, you know, Metallica has done some albums where they've gotten a lot of backlash from their fans. They've gone in some musical directions. They've done some collaborations where they're hardcore fans, you know what I mean? The ones that are really into the metal part of Metallica, you know, didn't really like the moves that they made. But Lars kind of stood by some of those moves. And one poignant thing that he said, you know, when asked about the pushback from the fans, he said, you know, I think it's good, you know, regardless of what the fans think, I think it's good to challenge the fans sometimes. And I think that's what your music does, you know, keep people guessing, throw them some curveballs, and the ones that are in it for the long haul are going to stay.
Yeah, man. And it's everything's subjective too, right? Like,
well, you get a lot of fans who just want to hear what? You want to hear Master of Puppets over and over and over again. You want them to make that same album all the time. I mean,
yeah, and you're not gonna be able to make a Master of Puppets. That was fucking 20-year-old kids.
Right.
That all they knew was drinking in a 7-Eleven fucking parking lot.
Right.
Pretty pictures. You know what I mean? Like that you can't do that as a 50-year-old fucking rich man.
Right.
Buzz, good luck. You know.
Yeah.
You can play those songs all you want. Just don't end up at the Sacramento Fairgrounds playing with fucking Fog Hat.
Right.
Talking to some fucking MILF about your fucking glory years, you know?
Yeah.
Don't turn into a cornball and everything's all good.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, you don't want to be out on the state fair circuit, that's for sure.
Fuck no.
And so I would be remiss if I didn't ask here, man, a timetable, you know, for fans that want to know, a realistic timetable on when you think, you know, we'll go one project at a time. When you think realistically we'll see new music from Get Dead? Will it be 2024? Is it more likely that it's 2025?
2025, easy.
Okay.
We're already in October.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, so we've got October, November, December, but there's only 3 months left. There's no way, but definitely 2025 for everything across the board. I think with Co-Defendants, we have like 15 new songs done.
Yeah.
We'll whittle those down and we'll also use leftovers for other fucking projects throughout it.
Right.
With the Crime Wave stuff that we're doing, we're going to be releasing more art on that. I'm going to be re-releasing my first hip hop tape, the Louis Regal tape, and putting out some new hip hop instrumental stuff as long. Cool. Along with like collabs and shit like that. It's going to be more of an art project type thing. Like you can get this stuff with cool little things to it, and it'll be like small batch stuff. But of course, everything will be on, you know, streaming platforms and all that stuff for everybody else to get. I
like that you've got your toe dipped in hip hop. I'm interested on your take, you know, because I don't get a lot of guys on here, you know, who fuse hip hop. You know, I get a lot of metal guys, I get a lot of rock guys in here on the show. So, you know, what's your general take on like the state of hip hop right now? But like, you know, I have a 30-year-old son who's a huge hip hop head. And, you know, him trying to turn me on to new stuff. And again, I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. But a lot of the new hip hop sounds very derivative with a lot of the same message kind of, you know, showing up all the time. It's kind of like you said before, you know, them same themes, you know, drinking Hennessy, you're bling bling, you're this, you're that. It doesn't seem like it's really challenging in the vein of like you know, like a KRS-One or a Tribe Called Quest or the Far Side, like you mentioned earlier, that interesting slant on hip hop. You know, when you look at the world of hip hop right now, like where do you stand on it?
Well, I mean, my question always, and it's always been this in hip hop, especially with the popular culture hip hop, what you're talking about, is my only question: how is everybody the same dude?
Right.
You know, how is everybody the same guy? So right off the bat, I don't trust it. I'm just like, how the fuck are you and this guy? You know, it's pretty see-through. It's pretty lame, in my eyes, my perspective of it. Just as the same as I don't like pop punk, or a cutesy fucking, you know, me and my girl go on a date. Shut the fuck up, Chris.
Yeah,
you know, it's the same with that shit. It's like, you know, I'm stunting, fucking always. I got all this money. This is how we spend the money. I get more money. I got more money. Fucking cool, man. Like those are the same kooks that are going to the, you know, the Fountain Blue fucking mega casino over here on Friday night after working a 50-hour week for fucking Verizon Wireless, and they're in there getting bottle service, listening to that music, acting like they got this money. Where in the realization, if you turn the fucking lights on, you know, they put a couple sparklers in a bucket, dumbass, and they're charging you $800 for it.
I know.
You only made $400 last week, so your whole life is based on a credit card, and that's where they want you. You know, if you don't want the government or anybody to fuck with you, raise yourself to consumer level, and nobody will ever fuck with you again. Get yourself in a nice amount of debt, a healthy car payment, and a couple kids.
You'd be like a regular American.
Nobody will fuck with you. You start deviating from that is when you start dealing with police and you start dealing with fucking lawyers. It's all it's fucking, you know, it's designed to do that. You
try to get yourself under the microscope. And
so it's kind of like, you know, I still do vandalism, but when I leave the house to go do it, I just immediately assume I'm going to get caught and I have to be willing that I'm going to jail. You know? That's how you should look at it, because you want to run up there and have a quick sloppy ass piece that's going to be drippy and fucked up that that'll never buff. You know, be there forever for you to see on your way to work every day. Or you want to go up there and have fucking, you know, 2 dope letters and then they got you, but those letters are sick.
They're awesome and they're there forever.
And when you get out of jail, they'll be there for you to fix.
They'll be there.
Nobody's like, oh, he went to jail for that piece of shit. You know.
So it's like now they're a staple of the community.
It's the same. It's the same with fucking anything else in life. You know, if you want to do music at this level or stuff like that, you have to know when you leave the house that you're going to be missing a lot of important shit. People are going to leave you. Your girlfriends are going to get fed up with your shit. This is the life you choose. If you're a lifer, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It will happen. If you're a painter, you will fall off a ladder eventually. If you ride a motorcycle, you will fall off the motorcycle. These are the fucking games we play, and, you know, act accordingly.
So I got to ask, because you got such an eclectic taste, and this sometimes I save it for towards the end of the interview because it can be one of the more challenging questions, but you have such definitive opinions. I don't think you'll struggle with it. For you, your Mount Rushmore of musical artists. This is subjective, obviously. Your top 4.
Tom Waits, Iggy Pop.
Came out of the gate strong. Let me just say, he came out of the gate strong. Tom Waits and Iggy Pop. He came out swinging.
I'm gonna go Tom Waits, Iggy Pop. I'm gonna go. It's hard for me to say hip hop because it's a group. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
So it would be one person, but I would definitely say I'm gonna go with Town Van Zandt.
Love that pick.
And stylistically, I'm going to go with the singer from the Detroit Cobras.
Okay. Very interesting.
Rest in peace.
Very interesting choices. And what about Sam King's Desert Island album? I'm dropping you on a desert island and you can only take fucking one with you, man.
Company Flow, Fun Crusher Plus.
Wow. Now you roll that one out extremely quickly, man. Like, what does that album, man, like mean to you, man? And why is that the one that you would covet and take with you?
So Company Flow is LP from Run the Jewels.
Yep.
And Company Flow is his first hip hop group, and then he started Definitive Jukes record label later on and all that.
Yep.
But Company Flow, Fun Crusher Plus album fucking is just still to this day some of the most dope fucking rhymes constructed with the beats and the rawness and just the whole feeling of the whole album, just everything. I can put that record on and no matter what mood I'm in or something like that, just the first 4 bars is gonna like snap me back to being like 14 years old about to go fight over a tag.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. And it's obviously high praise because you'd be dying on the desert island. And this essentially, I guess, would be the soundtrack to your death. So, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm gonna go out, I want to, you know, if I'm gonna die, I don't want to leave you listening to Barry Manilow and shit. Like, if I'm gonna die, I want to be fucking eaten by a tiger where it's like everything is firing. Like, you could run, you could fight, you might win, you might not. Every emotion will be there.
If
I'm gonna die on a desert island starving and dehydrated, I mean, it's not much more different than how I live life right now. But it's gonna be good music.
I think that's pretty much how the average American in this economy fucking lives their life.
Hey, but it's better than having to like work in a blood diamond mine or something.
Yeah.
Or fucking,
I work in healthcare. I got a pretty stable job because by day I work as a nurse, so I work in healthcare. So I always have a job because healthcare is just one of those things, you know.
Yeah, it's job security. I mean, the people are going to keep dying.
It's job security. People are always going to get sick and they're always going to die. Yeah, job security is certainly as long as Father Time is around. I have a job.
Straight up. What's up? Peace out to fucking Father Time.
Yeah. And again, man, I really enjoyed this conversation. Big shout out to Steve from Skin Lab, man, because I was really glad. I was really glad when I asked him the same question about what he's vibing to these days, man, and what he's really digging or whatever. And in our interview, and I haven't posted it yet on the channel yet, but I'll send it to you like what I do. But he really talked you guys up. He was proud to have the tattoo of you guys. It was obviously very interesting music to him. And that's obviously a big feather in your cap because you get a guy like him who's been doing a band like Skin Lab for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Nothing but respect. Those guys have fucking crushed it for, so many years.
It's high praise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's high praise, man. So
it's got to feel nice. I just lost your camera there for a minute. There you go. But listen, Sam, I appreciate you being so generous with your time, man. And I'm glad I was able to run you down and do this, man. And I really appreciate it. And I just ask that you'll stay in touch, man. When shit is popping, dude, I'd love to have you back on again, man. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. And if you come out to Las Vegas, anytime you want to come out and visit, man, let me know. I'll give you a tour.
I will.
And we're October 2nd. We're having a show here at the Crime Wave House with Miles and Co-Defendants, and we throw parties here to fucking help with the rent and the art supplies and shit like that. So anytime you're out here, man, you're more than welcome. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate that. And where can people find out everything they want to know, like about the bands? Co-Defendants have a website?
Yeah, go. You can go to bottlesoftheground.com. You can go to Co-Defendants Legal Fund on Instagram. You can go to Crime Wave TV on Instagram to see about all the art stuff and new releases. GetDeadMusic.com for all tour dates and merch stuff. Shout out to Stupid Rad merch, Punk with the Camera merch, Morgan's Brother. Just fucking Crime Wave TV all day, baby.
Yeah, well, I can say as a fan of music in general, man, that it's great and refreshing and just and literally no pun intended, music to my ears, man, to hear something that is challenging, that is interesting, that doesn't make me think, God, I've heard this before 1,000 different ways, fucking recycled and rehashed or whatever. So it is really nice to hear like refreshing stuff and to, and to kind of restore that faith, man, that good music is fucking still out there and being made.
Hey, and here's another good, I met a barber here, speaking of falling into good music.
Yeah.
It's kind of been, the genre has been fucking done for thrash metal. But my barber that I went to here in Vegas, the guy next to me was in this band called Spirit World.
Yes.
Vegas, dude. And so I fucking rode my motorcycle to the barber shop, and then I met the guy from Spirit World. I traded him a Spirit World sticker for a CODEF sticker. And he's like, listen to this new album that we got. It's fucking
They're incredible.
It's it was a cowboy western. It was a metal western album.
Yes.
That they did. And
it's almost like it has like a little rockabilly to it too.
Yeah, so it's just like it reminds me a lot of like Show No Mercy Slayer or like that early, like we're talking about like that shit that you can only get like 20 years old in a parking lot breaking bottles.
Yeah.
But big ups to them. If anybody's listening, and you probably all your metal fucking head friends are probably like, duh.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, check out Spirit
World.
Yeah, straight up. Great band, man.
But it's still great to hear like a musician, like a lot like Steve did from Skin Lab, man, just throwing bands' names out there, out into the ether, man. So people do, so people do know, and they can latch onto a name and say, because obviously as soon as Steve said Co-Defendants, I mean, like right off the rip, you're just like, okay, man, that's already interesting from a band. First of all, man, before I let you go, who names the band Co-Defendants? Who comes up with that?
I did. Me and Ceschi were, that, and I was looking at that Neighborhood Watch logo, and I was going through a court case in LA, and I was looking at like 3 years, and Ceschi had just gotten out of his time in prison. So I was like, this fucking fits perfect. I was like, we're going to call it Co-Defendants, and the genre is going to be Crime Wave. And we're going to
unbelievable that Ceschi does all that time, man, for fucking weed too. Crazy.
Yeah. And now look at it. At it.
I know now it's very liberal, man, and it's widely accepted. So that's pretty great. How long ago did that happen for him, though? That was back in the.
Yeah, that was right. That was before COVID. So I think that was That was like 2017-ish, 2018-ish.
Well, it's always refreshing to know that they're wasting taxpayers' money, locking people up for fucking little old marijuana. That's always great.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he served his time and to his community, and he came out a better musician for it. So
Yeah,
thanks to the system for putting guitars in there.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I love what you're doing, man, and I can't wait to hear more of it, man. Certainly keep me posted, man, and keep me tapped in, man, and I'll have you back whenever, man.
Yeah, man, you do the same, brother, and I'll be talking to you soon, dude.
All right. Good talking to you, Sam. Yeah.
Later,
Appreciate you, brother. Later, man. There he goes, folks. That is Sam King. Fans might know him from punk rock band Get Dead. Their last album was, let me look at my notes here, 2020's Dancing with the Curse. As you heard, expect new music from Get Dead 2025, which is also around the time that he says to expect new music from CODEFENDANTS. And again, shout out to Steve Esquivel from Skin Lab for turning me on to these guys. Definitely doing something interesting, putting an amazing and cool fucking slant on fucking music, not being able to be compartmentalized and pigeonholed into a specific genre. What they do is extremely cool. There's elements of punk, there's elements of folk, there's elements of pop, there's elements of heavy elements of hip hop. It is alternative. It is really fucking groovy. It defies fucking genres. It defines labels and stereotypes. They are really off and doing their own cool thing, man. Check out 2023's album. This is Crime Wave, which they also refer to the genre as Crime Wave. You know, you've heard of New Wave. Now you've got Crime Wave. And believe me, it fits. It fits the music, man. Reminds me heavily of the cool vibe that the Fun-Loving Criminals kind of, have kind of carved out, man. But these guys even take it a step further, because you can really hear the punk in there. You can hear the attitude. You know, that snarl is in there, man. But yet killer fucking beats and smooth hip hop undertones in there. It is just a melting pot of fucking great fucking music, man. So I salute CODEFENDANTS, and I urge everybody, and you know when Rexx is urging you, go out and fucking check it out, man. Rex Ruger fucking approved to the max. Even Freddie Mercury approves. His teeth are even fucking excited, man, back there, man. So you know he fucking loves it, man. Go check out CODEFENDANTS, man. And then I know you will come back and you will say, oh, Rexx, big thank you to you for turning me on to CODEFENDANTS. I know you're always turning me on to great shit, Rexx, but you've outdone yourself this time. CODEFENDANTS is the shit. Thanks for hipping me to it. And then I, of course, will say you're welcome. But yeah, so please go check them out, man. And of course, check out Get Dead. But the real reason I had Sam King on today was my excitement and my exuberance for CODEFENDANTS, a project he does with Fat Mike from NOFX and Ceschi Ramos. A really interesting project, man. I urge people to go to their streaming platforms or wherever the fuck they listen to music and check out CODEFENDANTS. You will not be disappointed. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode, man. Remember to like and follow us on Facebook. And remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this channel. This is where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Uncle Rex Ruger, man. This place and only this place for the best fucking conversations anywhere on the planet. And we just had another fucking good one there. So thank you, Sam King. Big shout out to you, man. And you guys know how I always end these things by reminding you, my beautiful audience, to take it easy and keep it sleazy.